All right. Well, this is me holding myself accountable. I hope that's not too loud. Might be a little windy up here. Just bear with me. My name's Matt Wolford, and this is my attempt at starting a YouTube channel. So, figure what better time than now, and what better place than Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. It is June 18th, approximately 8 o'clock in the evening, and I have my first subscriber to whoever you are. Thank you. It was actually kind of felt like somewhat of an achievement. So I'm very grateful for you. Got to start somewhere. Get the message out, right? Um, but since I did that video the other day and have leaned into this energy, I talk about it with people that I meet. I am starting a YouTube channel, and it sounds funny to say out loud. It only sounds funny if I guess you don't believe in it. And I believe in what I'm saying. Definitely believe in what I'm experiencing. Nobody can take that away from me. So I just want to share that. So that's what I'm getting to. Is I was trying to figure out what the heck, what kind of content I wanted to have, what kind of things I wanted to talk about. Um, and I figure a good place to start would be with things that inspire me, right, on the daily. Um, so I'm going to read you an Alan Watts quote. That is, I've heard it before. I know I have. But it hasn't hit like it did today. So, all right. Your lowest point is the doorway to your highest self. For when the heart breaks, something far deeper is taking place than mere misfortune. We often don't realize the value of the darkness until it is past. For only in the absence of light do we become the light. The human mind seeks comfort, but the soul stirs for change. It longs to grow, not to stay the same. And as I've said before, the meaning of life is just to be alive. And yet, we resist the very currents that are pulling us into deeper awareness of that aliveness. You're not here to chase happiness like a dog chasing his tail. Happiness is a byproduct of becoming whole. And wholeness requires contrast, dark and light, sorrow and joy, breaking and rebuilding. So when it hurts, let it hurt. Don't run. Sit with it. Listen to it. And when you finally rise from it, you'll realize the joy was never in the outcome, but in the transformation. Feed the soul, not the ego. Choose evolution over escape, and the light you're searching for will no longer be something you find, it will be something you are. Wow. Basically, like, I heard that on social media. There's about a minute and 20 seconds from start to finish when this AI, Alan Watts is reading it or whatever. Um, so what's taken me like a whole lifetime of trauma and bullshit. I mean, basically the last 10 years I've been doing a lot of deep diving into why I tick the way I talk. Um, for those of you who don't know, I mean, I'm not perfect. I have made several mistakes, and and I think I've been the hardest on myself. And something I've learned about myself is that it's made me self-medicate, numb the things out, so I don't have to feel the feels, right? Because nobody wants to feel the feels, and what a waste of time that is. So once I started to actually um, feel the things the struggles and the pain that the universe was trying to teach me with. Um, then I started to actually make some progress in my life. I, I say that very humbly, please. I About the only reason I feel so compelled to do this is because of the light and the pureness and the goodness that I've received as a result of walking this path that I've been on. And about the last thing in the world I want to do is come across like I got all this stuff figured out and I know the way. I know a path, and this path has worked for me. And if me sharing that with you in any way, shape, or form allows you to improve yourself on your path, then that's pretty cool, right? So that's what I'm at right now. That's the vibe I'm on. Make this a full screen here. Um, all right, so where are we at? So a minute and 20-second video sums up a 10 years or so of introspective self work and counseling and group therapy and just stepping on it, stepping in it, and walking through it. And that is a powerful message there by so. Um, Go back and listen to it again. And if it doesn't mean anything, and if it doesn't sink in, or if it doesn't help you, then maybe you're just healed, and perhaps this isn't the channel for you. But man, I had a profound moment a couple of months ago, and I've told a couple of people that I'm close with this story. So I guess mine is what it came up. I don't, I hadn't thought about it until just right this second. So let's talk about it. But I was partying with some friends, and we were wide awake. And then it was time to go to bed, and the party was over. So I guess I was just kind of stuck in my head. And love it. Oh, don't stop for me. I got girls dancing in a Range Rover over here. Just getting it. Oh, that's that's the Wright Brothers Monument, by the way. Killed the wheels. Nice thing. Shit. What was I saying? Stuck in my head. Okay. Stuck in my head. Couldn't go to sleep. And no big deal, right? Well, I've been like wide awake, but I was wide awake, And I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. I just had to set with it, right? Which is, but I don't know, so I had to set with it. And as I was setting with it in that uncomfortable space, probably some of the most uncomfortable spaces, one of the most uncomfortable spaces I've ever been in my life. I had this voice in my head that was um, screaming from the rooftops, trying to think of a very creative excuse as to why I needed to leave and go find more stuff to party. And which would have been about the dumbest thing I could have ever done because I was been drinking and whatever. And then it just kept going, and like so I really felt divided internally. Like there was a part of me that was just ready to go to bed, and then there was a part of me that was wide awake, and that part of me at that point in time I was able to. I remember saying, "Who's making all that fucking noise?" And then I realized it was my ego. And I was like, ah, there you are, you son of a bitch. I got you, you little bitch. You know what this is the weirdest thing. I know it sounds funny, but this is literally like what's going on internally with me. And it was one of the most profound moments of my life. I, like 39 and a half years old, for the first time was able to identify my ego and my ego's voice in my head. And and I was able to figure out, and then I started thinking like, holy shit. shit, how noisy is that motherfucker, right? I mean, gonna be the loudest one, and usually the weakest ones are going to be the loudest ones in the room. If you haven't heard that before, take notes, kids. And and I and I started thinking about how much that voice pulled me in a lot of different directions, and how that voice listened to fear or was motivated by fear more than anything else, just as a mechanism to protect me. And it's really what like talk me into staying in toxic situations because I was afraid to be alone. That doesn't sound familiar. I'm hoping that this audio isn't wrecked here, so we're gonna find out. But that's a good example. You know, staying in a toxic situation um, simply because I didn't really know what was on the other side of it. I didn't know if I was gonna be single or whatever. You know. Uh, so I think that's kind of the point here is that that one thought, which is I talk about this in my book. Um, Literally, like that minute and 20-second video just is a culmination of my book. Please read my book if I go in depth on a lot of this stuff, but that thought sparked another thought, and then I kid you not, I'm pretty sure within 24 hours of that incident happening, I was on my Harley and I was at a stoplight, and the car in front of me had had a bumper sticker, and it said, "Don't believe everything you think." I was like, "I see you, God. Okay, just drive the final nail." I mean, which led me to another thought, which is I kept leaning on the why. Like, why, what is it about me or my personality that is I could always convince myself that I'm right, you know? And a lot of folks can justify their shit, but nah, I don't mean justification by way of minimization. Um, well, I'm sure I've done that before. Hell, I don't know what exactly I mean, but I honestly can't explain the thought process I was having, but where I landed as a result of identifying who or the ego and identifying my ego and how he shows up in my life. Um, and then the the darn bumper sticker I I landed on folks that experience trauma. Um, our ego is our armor, right? Like that's how we survive our traumas. If you didn't know that about yourself, um, any horrible shit that you've ever been through, your ego has helped you survive it in one way, shape, or form. Um, Sometimes your ego will continue to show up and you won't even realize it, speaking from experience here. So what I think and what I believe and what I feel is that when you when you survive something traumatic, or maybe even especially a series of um, traumatic events, that you really learn to trust your gut and to believe that what you think is justified based on the experiences that you've had. Does that make sense? Meaning, okay, nobody's going to tell me you because of what I've been through. Like, actually, this is something very near and dear to my heart. When I came back from Baghdad, everybody, God bless my first wife. She, God bless all of them. They're all angels. I've been married a few times, working on that, trying to get my life in order. But that speaks to my trauma, and I'll be happy to be completely transparent about that as I move forward because that has been part of my path and my lessons. But I don't want to get off topic because I'll digress and completely forget what the heck I was talking about. I think I just did. Son of a bitch. God bless my first wife. She tried to get me into counseling when I came home from my. I mean, she knew, right? She knew that I had PTSD. I don't think they were. Oh, they were calling it PTSD. I mean, shit. I gave her PTSD, and then she could recognize that I had it as well. And at that point in time, we were trying to still salvage our marriage, and she knew better than I that I needed counseling. And I remember saying to her, I'm not going to go sit down with some pencil dick and listen to what he thinks about my traumas, shit that he's never experienced. Please tell me how to process the shit you've never fucking been through. Tell me. I'm all ears, right? So, um, needless to say, it took me a long time. Waking up in jail a couple of times is well, if you don't start to look inward, you're probably just destined to stay there. So that's when I started to do the counseling and the introspective work. But where am I going with all this? What are we doing here? What is the point of this whole conversation? I think a common theme that I've landed on is that our ego is going to do everything that he or she can to keep us in a familiar and toxic space because that familiar and toxic space is the devil you know, and the devil you don't is on the other side of your fears, right? Yeah. So, the devil I know is staying in a shitty job that I hate, doing something I'm not passionate about, that I don't even like to do. But I'm afraid that if I don't do this, I won't be able to pay my bills. And there's actually look, here's a real life freaking story about this right now. Everybody in the world just about knows about sailing with Phoenix, right? Shout out, man. I've been trying to figure out how to sail for a while, so I somehow lucked out and found this guy about a week before he set off from Oregon. But his whole story fascinated the crap out of me because here's a guy who is probably the most courageous and brave young man of our generation. Aside from veterans and combat veterans, I mean, that's a different kind of courage. But my hat goes off to the young man who left everything he knew, the security of his job, his home, his family, everybody he loved, everything he loves, everything that makes him feel safe, including dry land. Um, and then also didn't really even know what the heck he was going to do if and when he made it to Hawaii, and he did it. And last time I checked, it was like 1.7, 1.8 million followers. I'm pretty sure he'll be okay. I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to pay off his boat. And my goal is to link up with you one day, bud, if you ever see this. So maybe I'll catch you out there. But that's the prime time example of what I'm talking about. And that requires a lot of things, right? You got to set in the uncomfortable space, and then you have to be able to listen to the answers, and then potentially take the leaps that your ego is trying to stop you from taking. Um, because all I can say about it is this experience. I'm in Kill Devil Hills, right? I got here yesterday, rode into town, and I have two cousins. I got one cousin here at Kill Devil Hills and one in Nags Head, and Nags Head's 3 miles away. So I got two cousins in a 5 mile radius, on literally like one of the coolest beach towns I've ever been in my life. The Wright Brothers Monument is right there. That's the Ocean Rescue Aid Station. And then right just on the other side of the mother is the beach, right? So that's why I've got a wee bit of sun today. Holy moly! But um, but I'm counting my blessings, and I'm thanking God every day, and I'm trying to take His light where everywhere I go. And I think that it's important to continue to spread positive energy and to do those things. So here I am trying to hold myself accountable, and I guess I had something else to talk about because we went to 20 minutes again. Uh, Let me see here. Anything else on the old soul? Gosh, I've just met so many folks in the last few days. Okay, slight change of plans. So, it's a vacation, but I'm trying to have some itineraries. Um, but since my cousin had tickets to a Pepper concert last night, I'm here in Kill Devil Hills, and my Harley's due for a service, so we're gonna get that taken care of tomorrow. That way, I can make sure I make it up and down the eastern seaboard without any problems. So after a fresh oil change, I'm gonna ride down the Outer Banks south as far as I can on Highway 12, and then I'm gonna hop a couple of ferries back to the mainland, and then I'm gonna ride into Charleston, South Carolina, spend a couple days there. I think I have some buddies there, so I'm gonna do. There's one in every town, I guess. Um, and then after Charleston, I'm just gonna keep taking it south, and I'm gonna head to Key West. I'm gonna be stopping at lighthouses along the way, so I'll be posting pictures on my Instagram, um, Facebook, I guess, via Instagram. Um, and then after Key West, I'll be making my way back up. Got a rodeo to catch with my little sister in North Carolina, and then we're doing some sailboat stuff in Virginia coming up. So that's the next couple of weeks of my life. And I'm gonna do my very best to set time aside every day to, well, or at least when I have genuine and authentic stuff to talk about, to get on here and to record my thoughts and how I think about things. I'm a weird one, Mr. Grinch, so bear with me, and I'm open to questions and comments. And anyways, I hope everybody has a blessed day. And if you're still watching and following along, thank you very much, and stay tuned. All right.